Hello everyone and my Grant subscribers. You're welcome to Sure Updates Grant channel, where we give you the latest and updated version of the UAAG disbursement funding. If you're new on my channel, please consider subscribing by clicking the notification bell so that whenever we publish our new content, you'll be kindly notified. Thank you so much for subscribing and God bless you.
In today's session, we will look critically at three important concepts, and one will be about our special guest in the channel, Dr. Wealth, and the other will be an update of the widely anticipated grants for subscribers of all grants in the grant ecosystem, which include the UAAG, AGPGN, Supreme, Theobarth, and Rita, all grants in the grant ecosystem. But before we delve deep to the concept going to be presented by our guest, I want to quickly address the ongoing chaos in the grant ecosystem on the recently published newsletter by the CBN, tagging the CBN slots, the Pioneer IMF, as being fraudulent. The truth about this, as we have always advise our members on this channel, that those that are promoters of these grants, the CBN, IMF, and the Pioneer, are not people that are supposed to even promote it. As a truth, the IMF, CBN, Pioneer are just name tags given to mobilize beneficiaries. The grant was not meant to be shared in the public space. It's not meant to be promoted on the WhatsApps and the Telegram groups. The truth behind it is that when grant was shared among different stakeholders in the country, some certain staff in the CBN were equally shared their own percentage too. But considering the regulatory policies binding some workers, civil public workers, they can't receive a certain volume of cash in their bank account. They reach out to their partners out there to help them secure cooperatives that can receive their fund on their behalf, used for whatever project they wish. It was meant to be secret, but some people take advantage of this information and decide to market it for their personal fraudulent intent, and that is where so many people have been cajoled into wasting their money. So those that actually did the direct registration with those that owns these slots, that own this percentage of grant, will still receive their disbursement. But if you fall under the hands of those fraudulent promoters, there's no two ways about it. You have been defrauded. Now let's critically look at the first concept of this session. We will go back to other updates in grant dates of disbursement, the timeline already set aside for disbursement of all grants in the country, and the entitlement of beneficiaries. Finally, we will address it in the course of this session. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, kindly subscribe immediately. Click the description option in the YouTube channel here to join our WhatsApps and Telegram groups. Be rest assured that critical updates towards disbursement is going to be revealed here in the days ahead. But you need to subscribe to this channel and follow our WhatsApps and Telegram to receive this update as it's delivered. Now let's get to our guest, Dr. Wealth. I know you have much more good news to deliver to members of Subscribe for the GFDI scheme. A lot is tickling in. There's jubilation on several platforms. I've seen a woman receiving 83,000, the other one received 200 plus, and someone received 150,000 as an influencer. So let's know why some people have not even received on the platform, because just as their testimonies, their complaints, you are here to let justice to those concerns. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you. Okay, thank you very much for the question. It's an exciting moment, you know. A lot of people are seeing people receiving, so certainly they will be anxious to know when gas is coming, so that they will really believe it's real. Yeah. You know, that's something about payments and things like this. But certainly, just be rest assured, as long as your name is on our list and you have a code, you will assign a user ID, don't worry, you will be receiving. Because right now, payment is ongoing for batch 11. And the batch 11 lists are for those who had been captured, who has user ID on our list. And so batch 11 has lists for those collecting 1,050 naira, and then those collecting 65, and those collecting 40,000. And for those of you who had already received 1,050 naira in batch 10, also be patient. Batch 11, your name will not be there. Your name is going to be coming out in batch 12 for your 65. All right. And those who have also received 65 already, your name will be coming out in batch 12 for your 40,000. That's how it works. You're going to notice that your name will be skipped from one batch to the next batch. That is how it works. So if you are on batch 11 now, just know that your 65 is going to be coming up in batch 13. All right. And just like that, after batch 13, 15, you have your 40,000.
And that reminds me, most importantly, I've noticed incidents of overpayment in the platform where people that registered for 10 slots are receiving 18 slots, and people that registered for 2 slots are receiving for 4, one receiving for 2 that they haven't paid for. And what is the reason behind this irregularities in the payment process?
Okay, it just shows that we are still in the human world and there are mistakes. All right, so because that very irregularity came from the payment platform, and according to the explanation of the admin, he said payments were made but declined. Most payments were declined, and so they had to send again, not knowing that that was double entry. The first one already gone through, so it now causes people to have double entries. So peradventure you have that, please don't take it as a miracle. It's not miracle. You have to do a refund, so it doesn't affect the rest of the payment, because there are penalties to that. They are going to actually trace accounts that got that double payment, and they will be expecting a refund from those accounts, or else those accounts might be suspended from further payments. So please be warned if you are one of them. Just let us know and then send it back, please. Thank you.
So if you are on any of the GFDI WhatsApp group or the Legit platform and you receive double payment, you receive extra alert for what you have not registered for, you simply chat their name and refund. Yes, we know that in our ancient culture, the time of our forefathers, people doesn't take what doesn't belong to them. And yesterday in my platform, someone actually chatted, the woman registered for 10 slots and 18 slots was paid to her account and she refunded it. So it proves that there are still people with integrity out there, people with sincere intent. And yes, there might be difficulties, but I trust so many people that receive overpayment will refund. So among those refunds, so you will not be blacklisted from receiving the batch of 6,005 and the 40,000 out of the pleasure in taking 1,050. Thank you so much. That is true, because a beneficiary of the excess payment or overpayment has actually called to refund, and for the first time we see a restoration of the ancient or ancestral ethical conduct where people don't take pride in taking what don't belongs to her. The woman received extra 18 registrations and she called for refund. So there are still good people out there, and I can assure you that those in our platform who receive extra payment will refund to the NGO, so others can be paid. And that again reminds us there are certain set of people that have not received. There are serial numbers up to 275 that receive payment, and people below them, some in the batch of 100 or 180 something, have not received. Why are people ahead of them in the serial number receiving and they don't?
Okay, talking about payments, you see, we all operate different banks and different institutions. And when payments are made like this, these are bulk payments. You should also know that when it comes to bulk payments, it's not the person making the payment may not really be able to verify to know who has received and who has not received. It's usually the recipients that make us know, okay, I've seen it, I've not seen it. What they know is that funds will leave their account, and most times if those funds don't drop in the account of the recipient, the sender may not know, and that fund is lost. We've had got experience before sending little funds to people. You know what they are talking about. When you send money to someone, I made a transfer to someone recently, and up to now, there's no refund. I've been contacting the bank for that. So it happens. There are network issues and different things that happen when it comes to payout. The Nigerian system is still upgrading to come up to that level, except for some of our fintech banks that are really doing excellently well. So when it comes to that, if a certain number had received and you notice that someone whose name is on the list before you, for instance, number 1 had received, I know you're number 2, but all of a sudden you notice that number 4 had received and you've not received, it means that you have been paid. There is no way number 4 will get payment without number 3 receiving or number 2. So if that is the case, all you do, just know that those making payment must have sent out payments, and maybe for certain issues, your bank, which is receiving bank, may not have notified you. Most times, in most cases, the payment must have dropped in those accounts, but you did not receive SMS alert. Certainly, you have been paid. What you need to do is send your serial number, your user ID to us, and please don't pressure. All right. Don't forget, you're not the only one we are attending to. All right. So don't pressure. There are so many persons who may be sending entries like that. But one of the assurance I'm giving today is that every Thursdays we handle payment issues. So on Thursday, we are going to be treating payment issues that have been sent maybe from Monday till that day.
Thank you so much. That leads to the next subject of concern. That if people are in the batch of 101 to 1,000 and you start paying them, say, on Monday, why don't, since we are using the bulk payment format, why can't all of them receive between Monday and Tuesday? So you pay, because we are aware bulk payment system can pay 10,000 beneficiaries at once, 20, even 100,000 in a day. So why is yours paying maybe 50 or 100 in a day or in a week?
All right. Now, there are two things involved. Now, for GFDI, all right, is a growing project. For now, due to certain regulatory issues, bulk payments cannot exceed 3,000 at the moment. And GFDI has
Per day or
per day. Right. So, and GFDI has thousands of people they are paying. For instance, for my list on GFDI, we are over 6,000 currently. But we have others. My list is Group C. And now on Group C, we are over 6,000 beneficiaries. And we still have from other groups 30,000, 50,000, 80,000, as the case may be, beneficiaries. I mean, those on a wait list for payment. And so what GFDI does is they quota that 3,000, they ration the 3,000 according to the wait list from every group. And so for my wait list, if I'm giving, for instance, out of 3,000, I'm giving maybe 100, all right? That is based on the number of people on my wait list. The other groups might be giving maybe 1,000, depending, maybe like the group of 50,000 might be giving up to 500, 1,000 out of the 3,000 payments per day, all right? And then another group will be giving more, just like that. So we all did pie charts in school. You know how percentages are done, all right? How to ration average and all of those things. So these are the calculations they do. They look at it, and then based on your number, it also tells what you will get from the 3,000 payments per day. So from my list, as at some weeks ago, and even this week, we're having 80. We're having 80 payouts daily, and payments are done every Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. All right, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And most times, I don't get Fridays, I get Saturdays. Now, take note. Mondays, payment might be sent out on Mondays. Some people get their signals on Tuesday. It happens within 24 hours. That's why we tell you, the payments are sent out any day, wait for 24 hours. Wednesdays and Saturdays, those of them from Exo Technologies always receive payments.
Stay tuned for the wildly anticipated grant in the grant ecosystem. We will bring you immediately after the interview with the Presto Consulting specialist here with us. Before then, Dr. Wells, we are aware that after some times you suspended registration for new members into the GFDI scheme, and some of our members are actually desperate to register and participate in the scheme. Why are you not opening avenue for them to register? Or is it that the number is filled up? Or is there an avenue for them to equally register again and participate?
Okay, thank you very much. Now, talking about new registration, GFDI, like I said, just started and is still growing. And the target of GFDI is to reach out to 50 million homes, that is, on average, 60 million persons. So it's just starting, it's still continuous, and we are taking it gradually, all right? And so for when it comes to registration, we just wanted to clear out the backlog on the old persons that have registered, like capturing, coding, and all of these issues, all right? Now that payment is ongoing for batch 11, because those persons were profiled for batch 11, we paid 10 batches. This is the 11th batch, right? So, and I don't think there's any program that has such credibility to have paid up to 10 batches. Truly, that is unprecedented. Yes, honestly, it's unprecedented. So, at least we are trying. So, we are doing batch 11 now. Since payment has started going out for batch 11, we are now opening for batch 12.
Okay.
So now registrations is open for batch 12, so that we can start capturing people for the next batch of payment. So immediately batch 11 is concluded, we know that batch 12, these persons that will be coming in now can benefit in that very batch.
Thank you so much, Dr. Welch. You have actually addressed those critical concerns of subscribers in the GFDI scheme. So if, according to Dr. Wells, if you are interested in registering for the GFDI scheme, you join the WhatsApp group that is dropped here at the description of this YouTube channel. The admin on the platform will give you a guide and the requirements of becoming a beneficiary. The scheme takes place in 3 tiers. Then when you receive in the 3rd tier, which is 40,000 times the number of accounts that you register for, then you are done for that batch. You can re-register for the next batch afterwards. They equally tip us off that payment is continuous and everyone in the batch will receive their alert. So if you have issues with payments, chat the admin with your GFDI code. We will take it up and ensure you are paid. For influencers, it's open. Mobilize 200, 400, and you will be rewarded with or appreciated with 40,000, 80,000, as the case may be. It's a reward for hard work. Now let's look critically at the grant ecosystem for the UAAG grant, the AGPGN, Theobarth, St. Rita, Supreme, Epic, other grants that you subscribe for. A lot of concerns are being expressed right now on why disbursement is delayed almost to the middle of May and approaching the end of May without disbursement taking place. Is it going to still end like January, February, March, and April ended without disbursement? But the truth is, apart from the recent speculations that the IMF, the CBN, and others are fraudulent, the main grants that you subscribe for is not fraudulent. If you were a beneficiary or NGO that applied for any of the grants that we have listed here, disbursement is already about taking place. If I use that word already about taking place, I mean the conditions for disbursement to take off has been completed. So everyone that subscribe will receive the alert. You don't need to stress yourself. The IMF, the Pioneer, and the CBN failing is not a failure of the UAAG, AGPGN, other grants that you subscribe for. So you don't need to trouble yourself and start calling people if the UAG will disburse, if AGPGN will disburse, if Supreme, Theobarth, Epic will disburse. Look back to your grant handler. Very soon, the grant handlers will come and address you. If you applied for the UAG, expect an address from the UAG country director. If you subscribe under the AGPGN, expect an official address by the AGPGN representative. Everyone should expect a broadcast or a brief by their own grant handler. These people has been called on a roundtable meeting and they have been directed on how to go about disbursement. So it's no more the responsibility of beneficiaries on how they are going to receive it. If people tell you this and so NGO will not receive, don't bother yourself. The federal government has collaboratively ensured all data are harmonized for disbursement. The fund is for Nigerians, for vulnerables, for the fragiles, homeless, and including business personalities to expand their businesses. So everyone will receive alert. From inside sources, a disbursement is meant to commence from the week we are right now going forward. But everyone will not receive in the same day. Just like the Presto Consulting said, there are regulatory policies in disbursement of fund. So you can't churn out 10,000 alerts in a day for 10,000 different organizations or individuals. It's quite critical. That is why even in the civil service, they use 3-4 days to pay. Not everyone receiving on the same day. They always have a threshold of payment. So disbursement is going to take place episodically throughout the month of May. It continues to June. But the good news is the process is completed and there is a date within May that is already set aside. But know that the month of May is the month of disbursement. Don't trouble your hearts. We have resisted, we have endured all this while, endured for the few days and weeks ahead. It's already here. Before we go, those that subscribe for the UAAG AGPGN, Supreme, Theobarth, Epic, and other grants, they want to know what is the entitlement for beneficiaries. Actually, there's an harmonized schedule right now. Everyone is receiving one entitlement quota for beneficiaries as well as the NGO. And this is revealing that if you are under any of the grant handler, your entitlement is the same, irrespective of the NGO you belong to. So for now, we are told that it's going to be either 1 million naira or 500,000 per beneficiaries. But the other proposal may reduce it to 300 as the case may be. And the important thing is let the amount they want to disperse, whatever entitlement it is, let it come to the masses. By God's grace, we expect the entitlement of beneficiaries should be maintained at 500,000 or 1 million naira. God will do it for grant handlers. God is going to do it for all beneficiaries of the grant in Nigeria. Okay, Dr. Wells, thank you for being here.